The ultimate aphrodisiac. Henry Kissinger made the statement that power was his ultimate aphrodisiac. I looked it up in the dictionary to see the real meaning. The exact meaning, and it was food, etc. A stimuli. So he's saying power is a stimuli, an aphrodisiac to him. He was Secretary of State and National Security Advisor under Nixon and Ford administration. Kissinger was on the Watergate tapes, the 18-minute gap that they tried to destroy. They role-played that when I worked in the district attorney's office in 1980, Fred Simpson's office, Madison County, Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, your Marshall Space Flight Center, U.S. Army Ballistic, Redstone Ballistic Command Center, etc. Very section there in Huntsville. I was kidnapped in 41 and taken there to Moulton, Alabama, I don't have room there, Moulton, Alabama, in 41, to a pigsty. My uncle, this is 39, when I was born, so he's helped steal everything from my father, the real King Edward VIII, and he's made himself the illegal monarch, George VI, and therefore the ultimate aphrodisiac. Evidently, that's what she's living. Look at her whole family, and she's a thief. All this is illegal, and all the treaties they signed are illegal. They gave away Great Britain. But what she did to me and my sons, my mom and dad, my dad was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, sister to Georgia O'Keefe, the artist from Madison, Wisconsin. So this is a double that married Wallace Simpson, an imposter. Now then, the whole thing was a lie. I'm just going to throw this in. I'd done a book about medical malpractice, and Larry McDonald, Congressman Doctor, was one of them. Later, the KAO passenger plane he was on, and by the way, they took Nixon off in Juneau, Alaska, so they must have known it was going down. And it was quoted that Geraldo was on there and got off in Juneau. Anyway, supposedly, I've heard otherwise, but Larry McDonald went down, Congressman Doctor went down in the plane, in the ocean, on the way to Seoul, South Korea. But anyway, that was August 31st of 83. Larry Flint had been shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and he even put that I knew who was responsible for a shooting, and he listed Larry McDonald. But these were mind control murders, and I'm not going to get into that. I thought that was the reason they were trying to finish me off again. What I want to get to, this is my dad, the real King Edward VIII, because they've done nothing but lie about a most beautiful man. What they've done to him and to me, his only daughter, by the way, and my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, they were married once, and that was to each other, and one child, and that's me. I was born Victoria II, heir to the British crown, and that, excuse me, it's been a April Fool joke, what they did to me. It's been a circus, and anyway, so I don't get distracted from what I was going to make this short, and I can't get very organized. Looks to the rest of where I live, and you don't really see what's going on right at the moment to me. It's ongoing. What I wanted to do was go back, though. I was thinking back about getting the letter from the FBI, and it was sent to me June the 23rd of 79, and that was June 23rd is my father's birthday, King Edward VIII. A 99-year seal was put on all the lies. He was never married to that woman. It was all nothing but lies to take him down illegally. And I was born then. They never thought he'd have a child or an heir because my mom was 40 and he was 45. And then part of my own family, I think my grandmother, Mary, didn't want my mom to be queen because she was a commoner. Oh, me, but you can be a crook and a killer and sit up there and gloat and run around with all the money and get photographed and, yeah. Anyway, back to Henry Kissinger. Um, I got the letter from the FBI, June 23rd, 79, and then I'm not going to go into that again. It's too horrible. April Fool's Day of 80, I almost died. I should have, according to medical. It was a miracle. Anyway, I was illegally taken across the state line to Huntsville, Alabama. That's where Marshall Space Flight Center, all of it, Redstone Army Ballistic Center, all that is there. I was taken back there, and I passed a background check in the condition I was in and went to work for the district attorney, Fred Simpson. So I want to get back to before I crossed the state line, the FBI. I had gotten a letter, June the 23rd, 79, William Harper, U.S. Attorney, stating, and it was handed over to him to send me the letter, ongoing investigation, national security involved. So I want to go back to one of the other times it tried to kill me. Victor Gonzalez, by the way, was at Parkland. And then later he worked for Parkwood, which they're all a part of, like a hospital group, and they're huge now. And Parkwood was on Cliff Valley, way in Atlanta, and Parkland's where John Kennedy was taken after he shot. And Joe Kennedy, the father, was ambassador to Great Britain. And he and Roosevelt and the Jews, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, that controlled the banking and everything. Now, by the way, one of them's Bank of France, one of them's what? All over the place. The Kennedys were part of it, Roosevelt and my own Uncle George, the illegal George VI. Helped kidnap me and helped take down my father and all that. So what I wanted to get back to was the letter from the FBI about national security involved ongoing investigation, and go back to Victor Gonzalez. He's still in practice, I think, there. He's a child psychiatrist. There was a suit filed against him by former Atlanta District Attorney, Fulton County District Attorney, Eugene Kaiser. And that was in 75, 76, and Kenneth Don Reagan, and God knows, I think he suffered for having written the letters against Dr. Gonzalez. But nothing, the real truth was none of it told. And I was told by the law enforcement there in Cobb County in Atlanta that the FBI and the law enforcement was already had Victor Gonzalez under investigation. Well, the last I did look him up to see where he was, if he's still alive. He was still practicing in Atlanta, Georgia, in a suburb. I think Marietta, of all places. But anyway, back to what I was trying to get back to was the connection to Henry Kissinger and the Watergate tapes. They role-played the Watergate tapes at Fred Simpson's office while I worked there, and the deletion of it. And it goes back, I remembered being drugged by Victor Gonzalez, and I couldn't move. I knew everything that was going on, but I was taken across to College Park. It's a suburb of Atlanta, where the trolley car tracks were all. People that have lived there will know. The clinic they drugged me into was still there in 82. Now, it's probably been torn down now. I was drugged in there and put on a table and a phone call, and that's what's on the Watergate tape, the 18 minutes, is Henry Kissinger, who was said the ultimate aphrodisiac is power to him. He served as National Security Advisor, that's NSA, and Secretary of State under Nixon and Ford administration. And that's what the FBI said, William Harper, national security involved, and that was in the letter in June of 79. And this is back in 72, the Watergate tapes. So they took me over there, drugged